Let me start with a question that might make you uncomfortable. What if the hard days you're trying to escape are the very days shaping the person you're praying to become? Most people want the reward without the resistance, the promise without the process. But strength has never been built in comfort. It's built in conflict. If life feels heavy right now, that's not a sign to quit. That's a sign you're being prepared. Here's a truth most people don't like to hear. Easy seasons create weak habits, but hard seasons create strong character. You don't grow when everything is going right. You grow when you're forced to rise anyway. Pressure doesn't ruin you, it reveals you. And what's revealed under pressure is who you really are. Hard days don't show up to hurt you, they show up to train you. See, discipline is more powerful than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline shows up even when feelings don't. Hard days teach you how to work without applause, how to stay consistent without encouragement, how to move forward when results are invisible. And that's the separating line between average lives and exceptional lives. Most people quit when it gets uncomfortable. Winners understand that discomfort is the tuition for growth. Let me put it like this. Muscles don't grow when they're relaxed, they grow when they're under tension. The same rule applies to your mindset, your finances, your faith, and your purpose. Resistance is not rejection, it's resistance that builds resilience. Every setback you face is strengthening a skill you'll need at the next level. God doesn't waste struggle, He uses it strategically. Hard days teach patience, they teach humility, they teach you how to delay gratification and trust the process. When you learn how to endure hard days without quitting, you gain something money can't buy, inner authority. And when you have inner authority, circumstances no longer control you. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, who am I becoming because of this? People want a strong life, but they avoid strong decisions. Strong lives require early mornings, late nights, uncomfortable conversations, and lonely discipline. The life you admire is built on days nobody saw, tears nobody counted, and sacrifices nobody applauded. Hard days are not punishment, they are preparation. Let me ask you something. When life hits you hard, what's your first instinct? Do you curse the situation, wish it away, or blame the world for your struggle? Most people respond that way. But the truth is, every hard day you face is not a punishment. It's a training ground. Yes, I said it. Those moments that feel like they are designed to break you are actually designed to build you. They are the gym of life, and the challenges you're encountering are the weights you need to lift in order to grow stronger. Think about it. Muscles don't get bigger by lying on the couch. If you want to build strength in your body, you must subject it to resistance. You must lift heavier than yesterday, push past the soreness and stretch beyond what feels comfortable. Life works the exact same way. The hard days are the resistance. The stress, the setbacks, the disappointments, they are the very forces shaping your character, your discipline, and your capacity for greatness. The question is not whether these days will come, they always will. The question is, will you allow them to build you or break you? Here's the reality most people don't face. Every challenge you avoid is a skill you will never develop. Every obstacle you complain about is an opportunity wasted. You may not see it today, and it may not feel like it now, but the moments that test you are the very moments that are teaching you how to handle bigger responsibilities, bigger opportunities, and bigger rewards. Hard days are the secret classrooms where life's most valuable lessons are taught, and most people walk past these lessons without even noticing. Let me give you an example. If you've ever had a job that pushed you to your limits, or a relationship that demanded more from you than you thought you could give, you know the discomfort I'm talking about. At the time, it felt unfair, it felt exhausting. But if you look back, those very moments forced you to develop patience, communication, and resilience. They forced you to think creatively, act decisively, and take ownership of your circumstances. They built muscles in your mind and spirit that only experience under pressure can create. That is why hard days are not your enemy. They are the most valuable teacher you will ever have. Here's a hook for you. What if every setback, every frustration, every challenge you're facing right now is actually a promotion disguised as a problem? You might not see it, but the universe has a way of testing your readiness before it gives you the reward. Hard days are the checkpoints. They are the rehearsal for bigger stages, a preparation that is invisible to the eye, but undeniable in its impact. The stronger you become under pressure, the more life trusts you with bigger opportunities. And here's the part that most people miss. They complain, they quit, they give excuses. But the truth is, hard days separate those who talk about success from those who live it. Every obstacle you face and endure is a deposit in your personal bank of experience. That deposit compounds over time, making you more capable, more confident, and more prepared for the future. The very days that feel like setbacks are secretly setting you up for breakthroughs you cannot yet imagine. The challenge is learning how to see the training in the trial. The power is recognizing that what feels like resistance is actually refinement. The moment you start seeing hard days not as roadblocks, but as workshops for greatness, you stop fearing them. You start seeking them. You start asking, what is this day teaching me? How is this shaping me for what's next? And when you adopt that mindset, every day, no matter how difficult, becomes an opportunity to level up, to grow, and to build a life that is stronger, smarter, and more unshakable than you ever thought possible. Let me ask you a question. When the fire inside you feels low, when motivation is nowhere to be found, what do? Most people wait. They wait for inspiration, for a surge of feeling that tells them it's time to act. But here's the truth. Motivation is a liar. It comes and goes. It's unreliable. You cannot build a strong life by waiting for feelings to catch up to your dreams. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. Discipline is built when motivation disappears. That's where the real work begins, and that's where winners separate themselves from the crowd. Think about it. When everything feels easy, anyone can show up. When results are obvious and applause is guaranteed, you don't need discipline. You only need desire. But the moment the work becomes hard, the results slow down, or nobody is watching, that is the real test. That is the moment most people quit. That is the moment where you either prove your commitment or expose your weakness. The world doesn't reward intention. It rewards action under adversity. Here's a hook. Imagine two people with the same goal. Both want the same success. Both dream the same dream. Both have the same talent. One shows up only when motivated, waiting for the feeling to ignite. The other shows up every day, regardless of how they feel, grinding even when inspiration disappears. Who do you think achieves more? Who do you think builds more momentum, more skill, more results? Discipline wins where motivation fails. Every single time. Discipline is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's a choice you make over and over again, especially when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, and exhausting. It's doing the work when nobody is clapping. It's showing up when your body says rest, when your mind says quit, when your environment says stop. That's the secret that separates the average from the exceptional. Motivation will never push you to greatness, but discipline will carry you there even in the darkest seasons. Let me put it another way. Think of a professional athlete. Do they train only on the days they feel inspired? No. They train every day, often before the sun rises, even when their muscles ache, even when the weather is terrible, even when nobody is watching. Their results are not built on fleeting feelings. They're built on consistent, disciplined action. And your life works the same way. You cannot wait for a perfect emotional state to chase your goals. You cannot wait for the right mood to start building the life you deserve. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Here's another hook. What if I told you that motivation is the dessert, but discipline is the main course? Dessert is nice, but it doesn't sustain you. Discipline is what fuels your growth, your results, and your future. Discipline is what allows you to act even when the world seems against you, when fear whispers, when doubt tries to paralyze you. Discipline is what turns hard days into breakthroughs, setbacks into lessons, and small actions into massive success. The challenge most people face is that they confuse motivation with progress. They think if they feel inspired, they are moving forward. But true progress, true growth, happens in the absence of feeling. It happens in the lonely hours, the early mornings, the nights when everyone else has given up. That is where discipline is forged. That is where the life you imagine is created. When you learn to act without needing motivation, you become unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. And here's the part most people overlook. The more you exercise discipline, the less you rely on motivation. The more consistent you become in your actions, the less your feelings dictate your results. You build a system, a rhythm, a structure that produces success automatically. Motivation may come and go, but discipline never quits. It is the engine that keeps you moving forward, the invisible force that turns hard days into strong lives, and the skill that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Let me ask you something that will make you think. When life gets heavy, when pressure mounts and everything seems to be closing in, what do? Most people panic. Most people crumble. Most people complain. But here's the truth. Pressure is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It exposes who you really are, and at the same time, it builds who you are meant to become. The question is not whether pressure will come. The question is whether you will allow it to refine you or define you. Think about it for a moment. The person you are under pressure is the same person who will handle your future success. Pressure reveals your true character. It reveals your patience, your faith, your integrity, and your resolve. When everything is easy, anyone can smile and nod and say all the right things. But when the storm comes, when deadlines are tight, when criticism is harsh, when resources are scarce, that is the moment your real self shows up. That's when life says, this is who you really are. And the beautiful part is that same pressure is not just showing you who you are, it's shaping you into someone stronger, smarter, and more capable than yesterday. Here's a hook. Imagine a diamond in the rough. Before it becomes priceless, it must endure extreme heat and immense pressure. If it avoided the pressure, it would remain ordinary, unnoticed, and unrefined. You are the same. Life's challenges, its heavy moments, its setbacks, they are the pressure necessary to create your brilliance. Without it, you may have potential, but potential alone never produces greatness. Pressure transforms potential into performance. It transforms dreams into reality, and it transforms ordinary people into extraordinary Leah. Let me be real with you. Pressure is uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, it forces you to face your weaknesses and confront your limitations. It demands that you stretch when every part of you wants to shrink. And that is exactly why it's necessary. Pressure doesn't just reveal weaknesses, it strengthens them. It doesn't just expose fear, it teaches courage. It doesn't just highlight doubt, it forces you to develop faith in yourself, in your abilities, and in the process. Every time you face pressure and refuse to quit, you are not just surviving, you are leveling up. Here's another hook. What if I told you that every person you admire, every successful leader, every millionaire, every top performer face pressure far greater than what you're feeling right now? The difference between them and most people is that they learned to embrace the pressure, not resist it. They understood that pressure is a prelude to promotion. It's the moment that prepares you for a higher level of responsibility, greater influence, and bigger rewards. The pressure you are under today is the preparation for the power you will hold tomorrow. Let's take a closer look. Pressure forces decisions. It tests consistency. It stretches patience. It reveals loyalty, not just to others, but to yourself. It exposes habits, values, and priorities. And it demands action when hesitation seems easier. Every person who has accomplished extraordinary things has faced seasons of intense pressure. Seasons where the path was unclear, the weight was heavy, and the outcome was uncertain. And they survived. More than that, they thrived. That is the lesson. Pressure doesn't break you unless you allow it to. The secret is learning to shift perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this building in me? Instead of cursing the storm, start studying it. Instead of fearing the weight, begin lifting it intentionally, knowing that every ounce of pressure is forging you into a stronger version of yourself. When you embrace pressure, you stop running from challenges and you start running toward growth. You stop avoiding responsibility and you start accepting promotion. You stop fearing the test and you start passing it with excellence. Here's the final thought I want you to feel in your bones. Pressure doesn't just define moments, it defines character. And the person who can withstand pressure, who can perform under it, and who can learn from it becomes unstoppable. Every trial, every tension, every uncomfortable season is an invisible trainer shaping you for a life that ordinary people cannot even imagine. Let me ask you something. When life gets tough, when challenges pile up, when the odds seem stacked against you, what do? Most people quit. Most people take the easy road. Most people settle for less than they are capable of. But here's the truth. Consistency and struggle is what separates the average from the exceptional. It's not talent, luck, or timing. It's the ability to keep showing up, doing the work, and pushing forward when nobody is watching and the world seems to be against you. Think about it. Anyone can perform when everything is going well. Anyone can put in effort when the path is smooth, when results are immediate, when praise is guaranteed. But the moment life becomes difficult, the moment success is delayed, the moment the situation seems unfair, that's when most people stop. That's when the weak surrender to frustration, fear, and excuses. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not what happens to you, it's how you respond consistently in the face of struggle. Here's a hook. Imagine a runner in a marathon. At mile 20, Everyone else is exhausted, slowing down, considering quitting. The runner who finishes strong is not faster, necessarily smarter, or more talented. They are consistent. They maintain their pace, step after step, despite the pain, fatigue, and discomfort. That same principle applies to life. Consistent action, even in the hardest seasons, compounds into results that can't be matched by sporadic bursts of effort or short-lived motivation. Consistency builds trust. It builds credibility. It builds results. When you show up day after day, even when it hurts, even when it's inconvenient, you send a message to the universe, to opportunity, and most importantly, to yourself. You are committed. You are reliable. You are unstoppable. And the truth is, the world rewards that kind of steadfastness more than any degree of talent or any stroke of luck. Ordinary people wait for perfect conditions. Extraordinary people create momentum despite imperfect circumstances. Here's another hook. Every great success story you admire was built on countless days of invisible effort. The hours nobody saw, the sacrifices nobody applauded, the repetitions nobody counted. Those were the days that made greatness possible. Consistency and struggle is the secret ingredient that turns ambition into achievement, dreams into reality, and potential into performance. Without it, even the most brilliant idea or biggest opportunity will fail to reach its full impact. Think about the people you consider exceptional. Ask yourself, what makes them different? It's not that they avoid struggle, it's that they persist through it. They take small, repeated actions when the outcome is uncertain. They stay faithful to their goals when feelings tell them to quit. They move forward in the dark, trusting the process, and slowly but surely, that persistence compounds. Ordinary people see obstacles and stop. Exceptional people see obstacles and continue, knowing that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Here's the truth most people miss. Consistency isn't always glamorous. It doesn't come with applause. It doesn't give immediate satisfaction. It's quiet, often lonely, and sometimes painful. But those who endure, those who maintain momentum in struggle, eventually reach a level of excellence that others can only dream about. Struggle becomes their training ground, and consistency becomes their weapon. Each day of faithful action builds strength, skill, and resilience that cannot be faked or hurried. Let me put it like this. Success is not built in a day, in a week, or even in a month. It's built in the countless days where you do the work without recognition, without reward, without motivation, simply because you made a commitment to yourself and refused to quit. Those are the days that separate the average from the exceptional. Those are the days that forge character, confidence, and unstoppable momentum. When you learn to stay consistent in struggle, you step into a class of people who don't just survive life, they dominate it. Let me ask you a question that might challenge the way you see your life. When things get hard, when doors close, when obstacles seem insurmountable, what do you tell yourself? Most people say, this isn't working or I'm failing, but here's the truth. Resistance is not a signal that you are failing. It's a sign that you are growing. Every challenge, every pushback, every moment that feels heavy is life's way of telling you, you are on the right track and something bigger is being prepared in you. The question is, will you fight against the resistance or will you learn from it? Think about it. If life always moved smoothly, if every step was effortless, if doors always opened easily, would you grow? The answer is no. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in resistance. Resistance forces you to stretch, to adapt, to innovate, and to develop abilities you never thought you had. It tests your patience, it sharpens your mind, it strengthens your character, and it builds resilience. Without resistance, your potential would remain dormant, your dreams would remain ideas, and your life would remain ordinary. Here's a hook. Think about the bamboo tree. For the first 5 years, it shows almost no growth above T soil. But beneath the surface, its roots are expanding, strengthening, and preparing for explosive growth. When it finally rises, it can grow over 90 feet in just a few weeks. Resistance, like the soil that presses against the roots, is essential. It is not a sign of weakness. It is the foundation for breakthrough. Your challenges are the soil, and your persistence is the root system that will allow you to rise higher than you imagined. Resistance teaches lessons that success cannot. When everything comes easily, it's tempting to coast, to settle, to avoid mastery. But when resistance appears, it forces you to find new strategies, to deepen your knowledge, and to stretch beyond what feels comfortable. It is in the struggle that your capacity expands, that your confidence grows, and that your skills are sharpened. Every pushback is an opportunity in disguise, and every obstacle is a teacher dressed in difficulty. Here's another hook. Every person who has achieved remarkable success has faced resistance, massive resistance, repeated resistance, relentless resistance. The difference between them and those who fail is simple. They don't see resistance as a stop sign. They see it as a guidepost. They understand that the universe rarely promotes people without testing them first. Every obstacle you face is a checkpoint. Every setback is a lesson. And every struggle is a signal that you are being prepared for something greater. Resistance also builds mental toughness. It forces you to make decisions under pressure, to act when fear is whispering, and to keep moving when the path is unclear. Each time you overcome a challenge, you expand what you believe is possible. You stop seeing difficulty as an enemy and start seeing it as a training tool. That shift in mindset is what separates ordinary lives from extraordinary lives. Resistance is not punishment, it is preparation for elevation. Here's the final thought I want you to hold on to. The moments that feel like the heaviest, the situations that seem the hardest, and the setbacks that sting the most are often the very things that will define your future. They are the building blocks of strength, resilience, and ultimate success. If you can learn to welcome resistance, to study it, and to push through it with determination, you will unlock a level of growth that smooth, easy days could never produce. Resistance is proof that you are moving in the right direction. And the greater the resistance, the greater the growth waiting for you on the other side. Let me ask you a question. When the weight of life presses down, when the road is steep, and when everything inside you screams to give up, what choice do you make? Most people react emotionally. They take the easy route, make excuses, or postpone decisions. But here's the truth. Strong lives are not built in easy moments. They are built by strong decisions made on hard days. The days that feel impossible, inconvenient, and uncomfortable are exactly the days where the foundation of your future is being laid. How you respond in those moments determines the quality of your life. Think about it. Every decision you make in comfort is easy. Anyone can choose what feels good, what is safe, or what brings immediate pleasure. But real growth, real transformation, and real achievement happen when you make the right decisions in discomfort, when you act with courage in the face of fear, and when you choose discipline over convenience. Those decisions, though difficult, shape your character, your habits, and your destiny in ways that easy decisions never could. Here's a hook. Imagine a person standing at a crossroads during a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, the ground is slippery. One path is easy but leads nowhere. The other path is difficult, risky, and uncertain, yet it leads to opportunity and growth. Most people turn back. They wait for the storm to pass. The person who chooses to step forward despite the fear and difficulty is the person building a strong life. That is the power of making strong decisions on hard days. The challenge is not the road, it's your willingness to choose courage over comfort. Let me break this down further. Every successful person, every leader, every individual who lives a strong life has a history of decisions made under pressure. Decisions made when the outcome wasn't guaranteed, when the odds were stacked against them, and when the path was unclear. Those decisions may have been unpopular, uncomfortable, or even lonely, but they became the pillars upon which their success was built. Strong lives are not accidents. They are the product of consistent, intentional choices in moments most people avoid. Here's another hook. Every habit, every skill, every achievement you see today started with a single decision made when it was hard to act. The choice to study when tired, to save when tempted to spend, to speak up when everyone else stayed silent, to start when fear said stop. Those are the moments that define strong lives. Ordinary lives are built on comfort. Extraordinary lives are built on decisions made in discomfort, made in adversity, and made with intentionality. Consider this. The human brain naturally seeks the path of least resistance. That is why making strong decisions on hard days is so critical. It trains your mind to lead, to persist, and to act in alignment with long-term goals rather than short-term comfort. Every time you choose wisely when it's difficult, you strengthen not only your present situation, but also your ability to handle future challenges. Each decision compounds over time, creating momentum that eventually propels you to levels most people only dream about. Here's the truth. Most people miss. It's not the easy, comfortable, or convenient decisions that define a strong life. It's the disciplined, courageous, and sometimes painful choices made when life is heavy, when pressure is high, and when no one is watching. That is the invisible work that produces visible results. That is the silent effort that separates the extraordinary from the average. Strong lives are forged in the fire of tough choices, tempered by adversity, and elevated by consistent action. Here's one final hook to consider. Imagine looking back at your life and realizing that the moments you almost gave up, the choices you almost avoided, and the challenges you almost surrendered to were actually the very moments that built your future. Those hard days, when met with strong decisions, become the turning points, the breakthroughs, and the victories that define the life you were always capable of living. So don't curse the season you're in.